Unbelief is not a common topic that we talk about or think about. It's a fuzzy subject that's tough to put our finger on. But the gospel makes a big deal out of it, and that's because unbelief poisons our souls. So let's take a few minutes to look at what it is so that you can spot it, and then I'll leave you with 2 takeaways to help you beat it. The best verse that defines unbelief is found in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 12. The author says, "See to it, brothers and sisters, that none of you has a sinful, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God." Based on this verse, I define unbelief as an impulse that arises in our hearts and minds and leads us to turn away from God. Imagine a food whose smell alone makes you just want to gag. For me, don't judge me, it's like a cheap Chinese buffet. I'll still eat there from time to time if someone else wants to go, but each time I go, I tell myself this is the last time I am eating at a place like this. I can hardly stand it. Just thinking about all of the oils and the processed breading and sugar just grosses me out. But that's me. You have your own food, and just the smell of it repulses you. But that experience, that reaction to awful food is similar to the way unbelief works. Unbelief begins in the heart as an impulse that rejects God. The idea of getting God involved just smells bad. It stinks. And then it works its way out of our lives so that we exclude God. We go in the opposite direction. We are repelled at incorporating God. That's how the writer to the Hebrews described it, an unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. Now, unbelief can be active or passive. As an active impulse, it's where we are aware of God, but we refuse to invite Him in. We are repulsed by Him in a negative sense. As a passive impulse, it's where other ideas or things attract us, and we let ourselves be drawn away from God. Something else just smells better. For some people, that looks like keeping God out of our entire lives. We might ignore Him or deny Him or mock Him or neglect Him or dismiss Him. Those people are non-Christians who don't have a relationship with God. It's because they have not seriously considered following Christ, or other things just distract them away from considering it. Or it's because they have considered following Jesus and it just doesn't smell good. But just because someone does turn to Christ and seek to follow Him, that doesn't mean our fight with unbelief is over. On this side of death, unbelief isn't something that Christians can completely do away with. We will continue to wrestle with it until the day we die. For example, a person may turn to Christ and realize that God has been the one who has made them rich. So they start giving money to their church, to missions ministries, and to the local homeless shelter. This new Christian begins giving away thousands of dollars a month. Involving God with his money becomes attractive and easy because he sees God as the source of all his wealth. But that same person may neglect his family for work. Work feels so meaningful. Engaging with family is more difficult and messy. That person's perspective may be slower to change about the way God values people, and family especially, so that person actively or passively keeps God out of his work-life balance. The ease and convenience and pleasure and success of work draws him toward it, while the effort and difficulty and constant setbacks of loving his wife and children push him away. In that example, belief is enriching the money part of his life, while unbelief is destroying the family relationships in his life. And that's what unbelief ultimately does. That's why it's like pouring poison into our soul. It harms our lives. But God is the God of life, not death. So through the gospel message, Jesus calls us out of unbelief. He died and resurrected so that you and I may believe in Him, walk with Him, and avoid the poisonous destruction of unbelief. So I want to leave you with 2 gospel takeaways based on the verse we just looked at. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 12. There are 2 negatives that I want to flip into positives to make them our Bible-centered takeaways. The verse said, unbelief causes us to turn away from the living God. So first, we stop unbelief by reminding ourselves that God is alive. Unbelief acts as though God is dead or unpleasant or irrelevant or distant. But that's not true. God is alive. He's pleasant to be around. He's right there. He's always ready to get involved, and he's beneficial to have in every situation. Just tell yourself, wait. God is alive and ready. That's first. Second, we stop unbelief by turning to the living God. Since Jesus is alive and beneficial, invite him into the situation. He is life-giving and life-improving in every way. It's good to be with Jesus, to be aware of him, to live with him right next to you, helping you, guiding you, supporting you, and even correcting you. Just tell yourself, stop. Jesus, I need you in this situation. I don't know what to do, and I need you right now. That's second. So those are my two takeaways from this verse. I can beat unbelief by reminding myself that God is alive, and I can stop unbelief by turning to the living God, our Lord Jesus. That's it for this post. I'm Aaron Massey. I've been following Jesus and teaching the Bible for more than 15 years. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor to like and subscribe so that others can find teaching just like this. And if someone came to mind, share this video with them. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.